Hey peeps, welcome back. Hope you guys had an amazing day today. Let's do a quick overview of some of the news throughout the day. I think that'd be a good thing to do. And as you guys can tell, pretty much everything happening right now, along with like Soudani being, in the UN, all of his discussions, everything has to do with the rat going international. In fact, one of the most significant, if you guys just look back at this whole year, September has been the most active month, and it's been the most, as far as the most informative, with news, actions, everything. September has been their busiest month preparing for the rate change throughout this entire year. That's not coincidental. They're preparing for the rate change, okay? And they're preparing to go international. So all of Soudani's discussions and all of his actions at the UN right now, he's just talking about everything that they're preparing to do, which is going international. Let's get started. So since last week, Iraq's been flapping their lips saying that they're going to have a financial shortage due to oil revenue because right now oil prices are down. But if you look back at the last few weeks, they have put a huge emphasis on taxation. Okay, they're bringing a lot of taxes forward. So basically, when they get the 24 budget fully amended and implemented, they're going to factor in taxation on that, along with the taxation will start in 24 and it'll also continue on forward after that. So 24, 25, their budgets for those years, even though it's at a little bit of a oil, with right now oil's majority of their funding for their budgets and budget periods, it's not a huge concern because they're going to factor in a lot of taxation. So don't let this concern you in any way. They've got that base covered. PM meets with U.S. Secretary of State in New York. Let's look at the key points on this. Let's see what they discussed and what the key points are.
Summary and key points. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in New York today, discussing key issues on the sidelines of the 79th United Nations General Assembly session. Their talks focused on ending the international coalition's presence in Iraq and building bilateral cooperation with coalition countries. Superscript 1. Key discussion points: regional security, stopping ongoing war and aggression in Gaza and Lebanon to prevent further escalation and protect regional and international security. Bilateral relations, enhancing cooperation in various fields, including energy sector cooperation. International coalition, transitioning from coalition presence to bilateral cooperation with member states. Humanitarian concerns, protecting civilians, especially women and children, in Gaza and Lebanon. Al-Sudani emphasized the need for collective efforts to address these pressing issues, warning of a potential full-scale war due to lack of international solutions. Superscript 1. The meeting aimed to strengthen Iraq-US ties and address regional challenges. In related news, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in New York, reaffirming India's support for the Palestinian people and expressing concern over the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Superscript 2. Superscript 3. These diplomatic efforts highlight the international community's growing concern over regional conflicts and the need for cooperative solutions.
Some of those key points are only going to happen if Iraq revalues. So, like I said, bilateral relations, they've had a lot of bilateral relation agreements with many different countries recently, and that is all based on having a convertible currency and getting the U.S. sanctions lifted and removed. Next article here. So, hold on here. I know there was it says this is the Prime Minister, we are moving forward with the development project and are keen to provide incentives to the private sector and invest in renewable energy products. That's right. That's because they need to step away from oil, and that's actually a world trade requirement. They need additional forms of revenue and revenue streams to join the world trade. They can't have just oil as a revenue stream. That's why, for one, they really have to roll in taxation and so forth and get that rolled out and implemented. And there was a bunch of stuff from Okay, here's a good one. This is from, we had 5 of these articles on Saturday, and this is from yesterday, this actually is from today, the 23rd. So yeah. So we had 5 of these articles talking about deleting the zeros on Saturday, and then 1 today. So 6 total just within 3 days. Very amazing. So basically, the summary of removing zeros is getting rid of the large 3-0 notes and placing them with smaller size currency notes, but at an increased value, so that when the rate changes, the large notes, when the rate changes, the large notes have the same purchase power before the rate changes as the smaller notes after the rate changes, okay? So that's what they're trying to do here. Anyway, they would have to increase the value of the currency, strengthen it to delete the zeros, and revalue and get rid of the U.S. sanctions and all that. So we're definitely, this news is looking really good. And then, hold on, there were some other key articles here. So one of the things the central bank did today was release their financial sustainability map project. And this came out today. There's a lot of amazing pictures in this. It basically just says the Central Bank of Iraq launched the Financial Sustainability Map Project, an environmental, social, governance guide for banks with the International Finance Corporation. The CBI Governor Ali Mohsen Al-Alak emphasized the central bank's role in supporting Iraqi banks' development, financial stability, aligning with the international ESG standards. That's because they're preparing to go international. And it says Al-Bilbasi praised the partnership, citing its significance on Iraq's sustainable financing strategy and enhancing bank competitiveness. Again, that's because Iraq's about to go international. That's why through the whole month of September is the month where you have seen and heard more from the central bank ever throughout this entire year, is the month of September. They have been more vocal and have completed more steps, the central bank, in the month of September than any other month throughout this entire year. So this was a key step today. And then there was a whole bunch of sideline meetings at the UN with Sudani and other top officials from around the world. So critical things are happening. They're preparing to go international. Another thing so you guys know this week that Kurdistan is going to have their provincial elections this week. That is a key piece of stability. Remember, the central bank stated that the number one minimum requirement, according to the central bank, to even consider revaluing the currency was political stability. So we have 2 parts to that. We have this week on Wednesday, the 25th, we have the Kurdish provincial elections, and then right here, and just so you guys know, so they're going to replace potentially up to 4 ministers within the cabinet. And now they've talked about doing this. It says choose replacements within a period not exceeding a week. I would be careful with that date. Parliament seems to lie a lot. This is coming from Parliament. Okay. It's kind of a parliamentary opinion. They do lie a lot about dates. So if they say within a period of not exceeding a week, I'd give them 2 to play it safe. Okay? Just because they do lie a lot about dates and timeframes. So, but again, this right here is another step of political stability. Another thing that they've talked about doing along with the ministerial change is also replacing the Speaker of Parliament, the President of Parliament, at the same time. Okay? So we could see the President of Parliament and the ministerial shuffle, or replacing the ministers around the same time, just to give you guys a heads up. But this is all a form of political stability, which was the central bank's number one requirement to be eligible to revalue the currency. So good stuff happening. Lots of good stuff. That's it, guys. Again, there's a lot of articles from steps and actions happening at the UN this week, to rolling out for the central bank, rolling out the roadmap, okay, the financial roadmap at the central bank level. So lots of good news. This will be a busy news week with everything happening. Thank you guys for joining me, friends, and have a great day. Take care.